it made me feel suddenly very insecure. I had so much self-loathing when I looked in the mirror. I was very nervous and very like private about it. I didn't even tell anyone I had this insecurity. And I've made a decision. I've decided to shine on me, shine on me. What's good, Fizz fam? Hope you're all having an amazing day, an amazing life right now. Hope all of your dreams are coming true. What's good with me is that I'm actually really excited to announce that my surgery is all booked and confirmed, and I'm gonna be having my surgery in about 2 weeks time. But I'm gonna be telling you about my surgery and why I'm having it and what I'm having later on in the video. Since we've been back in the UK, Fizz fam, we've actually been really busy. It's fun being in London, I've got to say. The energy here does really like motivate you and want to make you achieve loads of things. But at the same time, we have been trying to make sure that we get outside in nature. So the kids have been loving going to the park. I know the nature here isn't the same as Costa Rica, but the parks in London are surprisingly really big and beautiful. And we're getting to look at all the swans and all the little squirrels. It's really fun. And the little Kami over here, she's been obsessed with going to the library. One of the things she really wanted to do when we came back to England was go to the library. And I feel like, what are your favourite books, Karma?
That book.
You love
she
that
loves
one?
The funny sort of books, like this series, Oi Frog.
Yeah, the Oi Frog, Oi Aardback ones. Well, this is Oi Duck-billed Platypus. They're your absolute favourite, aren't they?
And that one's my favourite too.
Have you read those Oi Frog books, Fizz fan? They are really good. I really enjoy reading them to her.
My favourite.
All of them
the
are,
books.
yeah. But you do really like the Oi Frogs though, don't you? And you do, don't you? I caught you reading them before bed the other night by yourself. And then also we've been taking advantage of all of the yummy food here in London. I feel like there's over 1,000 vegan restaurants. I'm not sure if I've got that figure right. Darren's not here, he's the one who's told me, but I'm not even exaggerating. There are a lot of vegan restaurants here, which hopefully we can try out all of them. I'm not sure if that's possible, but we're gonna try as many as we can while we're here and take advantage of that. And then also, Fizz fan, me and Mia have also been getting some new piercings. I think we've already shown you Mia's lower belly button piercing, haven't we?
My belly button,
which looks nice. And then can you take the Fizz fan from me, please?
Sure.
And then also I've got some new ear piercings, Fizz fan. I have shown them on my account, Georgiana Fizz, when I went and got them. I actually want to get more, don't I, Mia? I'm getting a bit obsessed with, can you notice all the gaps on this ear?
Though. I like it.
Darren laughs though, and he says like, you've got no more space to get them. But I can see plenty of space, Fizz fam. If you'd like to see more behind the scenes stuff, Fizz fam, you can follow us on our Family Fizz Instagram, and then also my personal account, Georgiana Fizz. But first of all, Fizz fam, I've got something super exciting which I want to share with you in this box. Green Chef is a recipe box company which delivers healthy, perfectly portioned meals to your door to make eating healthy easier, takes all the stress out, and it's really enjoyable because you get to follow step-by-step easy recipes and you get to make it at home, which is why I really like it. You can select your weekly recipes, you can modify the servings per recipe so there's no waste, and you can pause or cancel at any time if you want to go away for holiday or if it's a weekend coming up and perhaps you want to eat out. Also, you can choose between 5 diets and it can help you easily fit vegan meals into your diet. It creates sustainable dinners so you can stick at eating healthily. It creates good eating habits and all without breaking the bank. I think I'm gonna go for the mushroom stroganoff. All of the ingredients are super fresh and delicious. As you can see, this is actually a portion size for 4 people. They also send you all of the spices, all of the little bits and bobs. And the last step is serve your mushroom stroganoff in bowls with the speciality mushrooms on top and garnish with the remaining dill. That's really good. I feel like all the mushroom stroganoffs I've created in the past have been really bland. And with 17 new weekly recipes created by nutritional experts, you're never ever gonna get bored. There's gonna be so much abundance with this. I'm really excited to try some more of their other vegan recipes. And if you'd like to enjoy a Green Chef, there is 40% off the first box and 20% off the next 3 boxes. But now, Fizz fam, this is what you've all been waiting for. I'm now going to go and speak to you downstairs quietly, just us guys, and I'm going to tell you about the surgery, what I'm going to be having, why, etc, because I know loads of you are interested in this. Also guys, I hope that this video can be helpful for other women out there who are going through a similar thing or considering what I'm having. So let's start. So as a lot of you guys know, that one of the reasons why we came back to the UK is because I said that I needed some important surgery. I did look into having the surgery in Costa Rica, but unfortunately the surgeon there who I found couldn't meet my needs, and I'll go into more detail about that later on. So one of the reasons why we came back to the UK, I've mentioned this in some of our previous videos, is because because I need to have some important surgery. So 17 years ago, Mia was born, and this is when it all really started. And the reason for that is because when I had Mia, I decided that I wanted to breastfeed her. I was 16 at the time, which is quite young for a person to become a mum, but then also with like my background of Kansas State working class, breastfeeding wasn't that common then. Other young mums or other women, even older women at the time, they all decided to bottle feed. But because my mum had breastfed me for a little while when I was a baby, and because I was, even though I was so young, I had this like conscious awareness of that breastfeeding was natural and very healthy for your baby, I just felt a strong urge that I wanted to breastfeed Mia. So I breastfed Mia for like roughly 1 year. I can't remember exactly how long, it was so long ago, but I know that I did actually do it for a long time because I even had some comments from other people saying, why are you still breastfeeding? So one thing that I wasn't expecting after stopping breastfeeding Mia was how much my boobs would physically change. So after I stopped breastfeeding her, obviously they went back down because there's no milk in my breasts anymore, and they went down roughly to like the same size, a B or C cup. So that wasn't an issue or a shock to me. But what was the shock was how much my breasts looked different, like the shape, the structure, and the volume of them. I can just remember looking at my breasts and thinking how flat, empty, and like lacking in volume they looked. And they kind of like made me feel like I had like the chest or body of a much older woman, like a woman like the average age of having children like 30s or 40s, not a 17-year-old, a young teenage girl. And it made me feel suddenly very insecure. I had so much like kind of self-loathing when I looked in the mirror, and I can just remember lacking a lot of confidence and feeling very unhappy. Now I think a lot of that was based on how old I was, my lack of experience and my lack of confidence because I was a young girl, but then also maybe because I just didn't have like any knowledge or any inspiration of other women breastfeeding, whether because Instagram didn't exist then, and like I said, none of my friends were breastfeeding or having children themselves. But obviously I think there's one girl who I knew who had a baby at the same time as me, but she bottle fed, so everybody I knew was bottle feeding. I didn't really ever get to see my mum's breasts when I was younger. I think she kind of like changed privately from me, which is why I think it's really important daughters, if they feel comfortable with this, that they can kind of learn what happens to a woman's body through looking at their own mum's body. I know that they do this in a lot of other cultures, like in Finland and stuff. So like because I wasn't exposed to any of like real life women who had breastfed, I just was not expecting my boobs to change so much. So it probably really shocked me because of that. And then because of the age thing, I think, you know, I didn't have as much confidence as I do now being 34, because after giving birth to Kara and Karma, all of the bodily physical changes that I experienced when I was 16 having Mia, it didn't really affect me. Now at this age, I just really kind of embraced all the womanly changes, and you know, I feel like I'm mentally stronger to handle that. So I can remember daydreaming and fantasizing about how one day I would love to have breast implants. I actually first learned about breast implants and how they can help change the shape of your breast, not just make them larger, from the back of magazines. I'd always see adverts for like surgical, you know, plastic surgery companies, and I'd just be like, wow, one day I'd love to have that. That'll make me feel so much better. I can't wait to be normal and look like my friends. I can't wait to be able to wear the same clothes and borrow my friends' clothes, you know, etc, etc. And then when I turned 20, I made the decision that I would get breast implants. I was really excited for the decision, but at the same time I was very nervous and very like private about it. I didn't even tell anyone I had this insecurity in the first place, let alone tell them that I was going to go for plastic surgery. So I can remember telling nobody, and I went there, and I was quite nervous when I went and saw my surgeon for the first time, and I explained to him why I didn't like my boobs. I can remember telling him I don't mind the size of what they are, I just really wish that they had the volume of what they're supposed to have. You know, I said to him, I just want to look youthful again. He looked at my breasts and examined them, and he said, unfortunately, you're gonna have to have a breast lift as well. I can remember thinking, oh no, I really don't want to have a breast uplift, because I'd done a lot of research and I'd found out that if you have a breast uplift, it actually can reduce your chances of being able to breastfeed in the future. And that was really important to me, to be able to have that gift of breastfeeding future children. So I said to the surgeon, I only want breast implants. I don't want any lift. I just want to be able to have fuller breasts and still be able to breastfeed in the future, because when you have breast implants, there is a probable chance that you can breastfeed, and I've had no problems with Sienna, Karma and Koa. So, and then he said, well, if you're going to only have breast implants, you're going to have to get a very large implant to be able to fill out the stretched skin and give it that volume that you want without an uplift. So he showed me some of the sizes, and they were huge, and like I was really freaked out, because I didn't want to have bigger boobs. I didn't want to draw any attention to anybody that I was having this done. I just kind of wanted to have the operation, have implants, and kind of look back to normal. But he was like showing me these ginormous implants. So we compromised on, I think it's about, so I can't remember the exact size, but it's like 360 or 380 cc for the implant size. And that is a very large implant, by the way. And I can remember just looking at it going, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have ginormous boobs after this. And I think it was actually during the time when like glamour models and stuff were like super popular, and like with the culture then, you know, there'd be like women with big, like kind of giant plastic boobs. And I can remember just thinking, oh my goodness, what's happening to me? What's happening? I didn't want to have this. But I did respect the honesty and the expertise of the surgeon with him explaining, like, if you have a small implant, it's not really gonna fill out the skin and give you that youthful look. So I agreed with him, and then I booked my surgery, and it all went ahead and it went very well. And I can remember after the surgery looking at my new breasts and feeling fairly satisfied. It did feel a bit odd seeing myself with such large breasts, because they actually went from what I said, a B to C cup to E/F cup. And I can remember just thinking, whoa, like kind of not recognizing my body. And I can remember feeling a little bit weird looking in the mirror and going, what? This isn't my body. And it took me a couple of weeks to adjust to that when I looked in the mirror. I think that is quite common after surgery, some people to look at their new body, the new changes, and to kind of be like, not like to recognize it, and you kind of have to like psychologically like get your brain realigned with what it sees in the mirror. So I can remember it, feeling very happy with the results, and really excited to like be able to wear like the clothes that I wanted to wear, like what my friends were wearing. And I did actually get loads of confidence and satisfaction from having these new breasts. Like it served its purpose really, really well. And all throughout my 20s, I've had no noticeable issues with them, and like everything's been fine. So now I've had my implants in for 14 years, and they're actually, like most surgeons say, there's a shelf life with implants, and like a good time to get them replaced or removed is around 10 years. The reason I've waited so long to 14 years is because for the last 4 years I've been pregnant or breastfeeding Karma and Koa, so I haven't been able to have the operation until now. Some surgeons do say that like implants can last up to 20 years, but the longer you have them inside you, past the 10-year date, there's more chances of ruptures and complications and things like that. So now that I've finished breastfeeding Koa, which about 6 months ago, I've now come to the time when I can make a decision whether I want to replace my implants or whether I want to remove them, also known as breast explant. And I've made a decision on it now, which I'm a little bit nervous about, but I'm super happy. And I've decided to explant my breast implants completely. And one of the reasons I've decided to do that is purely, well, it all started around in 2020 after giving birth to Koa, and I just suddenly started feeling like out of alignment with having breast implants inside my body, like these foreign plastic objects. I suddenly just didn't feel comfortable with that idea anymore. I hadn't really experienced any side effects, like I've said. I haven't had any issues with my breast implants. Although when I started researching breast explant surgery, I did come across a lot of videos and articles with women talking about how they have had issues with their breast implants, also known as breast implant illness. And I found that quite interesting. I was reading all about their stories, and some of it I could relate to, like the reasons why they had breast implants. Some women decide to have their breast implants removed kind of purely based on that, you know, they just don't want to have future operations, which is one of the reasons for me. I don't want to have future operations. But another one is because they've had a lot of symptoms from it. And one of the symptoms I noticed was that women have brain fog and like bad memory recall, and can't often get their words confused, which is a kind of a joke in our family, like a running joke, that is kind of like what I have issues with. And I've just always presumed it's mum brain. And also when I'm a bit stressed or tired, that can happen as well. And I just think maybe because I've been pregnant for like the last 4 years and breastfeeding, which can be physically draining on a woman's body, because obviously it uses up a lot of energy and nutrients. Even after you give birth, your brain can shrink, which I know sounds hilarious. So I just assume like, right, I'm a mum, I've got a mum brain, that's why I have those memory issues. So that is one thing that has been on my mind. I've been like, is my brain fog caused by my breast implants? Like lots of other women out there are claiming as well. And then also I just feel, not only do I find the idea of the breast implants being in me kind of uncomfortable now, but also they are physically uncomfortable. These breast implants are really large for my frame. I can feel them moving around. When I lay in bed, they're very heavy. It feels very heavy on my chest. Sometimes I have heavy breathing as well and feel like a tightness, sort of pressure on my chest, which I think is probably just from having these heavy weights on my chest. Also, I feel like in the past it's affected my athletic performance. Obviously when I was doing bodybuilding it probably helped, but when I was doing marathon training and all my HIIT workouts, etc., when I wanted to run fast and do sprints and stuff, I really felt like my breast implants kind of weighed me down and held me back. So I'm really curious to know like how my athletic performance will be once I've had them removed and obviously healed and stuff, like whether I feel like I can run faster and breathe better when I'm running. Also, I find it really difficult to find clothes to fit my frame. I'm quite petite, I'm not very tall, but I often have to go up in like shirt sizes and dress sizes often to be able to accommodate these large breasts, which means the rest of the outfit is quite loose. I also have to go in specialist shops to buy my bras, which sometimes is awkward. I can't just go in a shop, pick up any bra off the shelf, because I have to buy bras which have a small width and then also a very large cup size, which sometimes is very awkward to get, especially when we've been traveling. The bras also take up a lot of room in my drawers. They're very expensive as well. And then also I've mentioned I don't want to have to keep thinking about having future operations. Like keep having operations, you know, even if it's once a decade, isn't ideal for your body. It's very timely, it costs a lot of money, and then also you've got all the healing and recovery and all the drugs that you have to take, which is just not like great really to have to think that in another 10 years I'll have to repeat the same operation all over again. And also because I've done a lot of research on breast implant illness, I do worry that perhaps in the future I might get some long-term health problems from having breast implants, because like I said, they contain plastic. They also known to have petroleum in, heavy metals, and just lots of toxins which aren't ideal for a woman's body. So I feel like I have come to the time where I would like to physically lighten my body up, remove these breast implants, and hopefully my mental clarity is a little more lighter, and I just feel generally more kind of like natural, if that makes sense. I'm just kind of looking back to get into the natural Georgie. So because I've been doing a lot of research, of course I was really curious and wondering about how my breasts would look after I've had my implants taken out. And because on a lot of the videos where women have had their breast implants removed, they said that they had something called fat transfer, which is where you have fat taken from other parts of your body and then you can have it injected into your breast, which can give you up to a cup's worth of fullness without having to have implants. So I thought, wow, that's a great solution. And then also because I've decided not to have any more children and breastfeed anymore, I think I might actually have a breast uplift as well at the same time to help remove the excess skin. But I'm going to go into more details about what I'm planning to have. Before I tell you about my surgeon and what is actually going to be happening to me, I'll quickly just mention why I decided not to have it in Costa Rica. Of course, there's lots of other reasons why we left Costa Rica. And talking about a fat transfer, which I'm going to go into more details in a bit. When we were in Costa Rica, I did actually do research on whether I could be able to have the explant surgery in Costa Rica, and I did actually find an amazing surgeon who specialized in breast explants and then also all the reconstructive work afterwards. I was so happy to see that and super surprised. But when I had my consultation with the surgeon, he actually said that I wouldn't be able to have fat transfer, and then he said that I'd have to have this procedure called breast flap surgery. Now I was kind of like really confused about what that was, so I looked it up, and it's something which is very common for women to have after they've had a mastectomy, and it's where they take a portion of your skin and muscle from one area of your body, maybe like there or on your thigh, I can't remember, but I can remember seeing a lot of it on your back, even the muscle, and then they place it over your breast to reconstruct it. Now I just kind of found that odd that he said I could only have that and not even a fat transfer, and he couldn't just do a breast uplift, because I was kind of like, well, all the other women who have made these videos, they've had that, so I kind of felt something was off. So we did a lot of talking, and I did ask a lot of questions, and I asked him why, but he said he would only be able to give me explant with a breast flap technique used on it and then no fat transfer. I really didn't like the idea of having the breast flap surgery, like the idea of a large section of my skin and muscle to be removed. It actually really like kind of made me feel quite upset when he said that. So it didn't work out in Costa Rica, but luckily I found a surgeon in the UK who's going to be able to meet all of my needs. I went and had my consultation, and he was so nice and so knowledgeable, really made me feel reassured. He didn't make me feel forced into having anything. So I said that, explained to him that I didn't want to have my breast implants anymore. He was so cool about that. And then I said how I would like to have my breasts reconstructed so that they can look youthful again and make me feel confident. He said that I could have a breast uplift and a fat transfer. But there was one thing that he did mention, which was when he examined my body, he said that I don't have a lot of fat on me. So he said he's not sure whether he's actually going to be able to achieve the cup's worth of fat transfer, which is possible. And he said maybe only half a cup's worth. And then when he examined my breast, he said that a lot of the fatty tissue, a lot of the tissue has gone from breastfeeding, and that it's just purely implant left now. So I do feel a little bit worried and disappointed about the current state of my breast, I think that the implants have actually done a lot of damage, and in a way I've heard other women saying this, breast implants can actually cause more damage than breastfeeding can to like the skin on your breast and the tissue and all the nerve endings and stuff. So he's going to do his best at making them look as full and round as possible. Of course I'm not bothered about them being small, I'm really excited to have small boobs again, but I would like them to look as full as they can. And I can remember after Mia was born I felt quite self-conscious about them being quite flat here. The surgeon said he's not sure how much fullness he's going to be able to achieve on the top of the breast, but he's going to be able to lift them up, remove excess skin, and try and fill them up as much as he can with the fat transfer. To be honest guys, I don't actually feel that disappointed with how much fat he's going to get. There's nothing I can really do about it. I did say should I gain some weight before the surgery, but because fat doesn't just go in certain areas, it'll go all over the body, he said it's not a good idea to do that. And then he said I'm probably not going to gain as much as I think I can in the time. And then also he said afterwards, like if I lose any fat after the operation, it can go straight from my breast. So it's kind of, he said it's not a good idea to do that. So he's going to get as much fat as he can. I feel very confident with the surgeon. I'm really grateful that he's going to be looking after me. I hope I've managed to explain everything well. There's been a lot to talk about and a lot to think about, but I'm really excited to share this journey with you guys, and I hope this is helpful for other women out there who you might have breast implants, you're thinking about whether you should have another operation again to keep them or to replace them or to have them removed. Also, this might be helpful for other women out there who are thinking about going ahead with surgery and unaware with that you can get breast implant illness, or that you have to keep having these operations all the time, and it's actually like a big commitment to make. So I hope this can maybe help you in that way as well. Yes, I'm going to try and vlog on the day of my surgery and around the surgery, and then also I'm thinking of doing some like updates after I've had the surgery as well, because I feel like that might be helpful. Also guys, I just want to add on as well that I have absolutely enjoyed my breastfeeding journey with all of my children. I wouldn't change it for the world. Like I said, I was very young back then, and I think that's why I felt insecure. I made some decisions which perhaps I wouldn't make now. I'm really looking forward to having a natural body again and feeling lighter and freer, and I'm really excited to get to share this journey with you. Love you all, bye!